Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
and today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Model Next. Exciting.
Model.
But first, let's roll that title.
You're watching the Tesla Life.
Express! Hey everyone, thanks so much for being with us. As you can tell, Patrick's not with us today, but Casey and I have got a story that we can talk about for sure.
Yeah.
Love to hear your comments below as well on this. But recently, Franz van
Holzhausen.
von Haushofen. Haushofen? What is it?
Hausen.
Okay.
Franz von Holzhausen.
Von Hausholzen. He
Holzhausen.
was on the Ride the Lightning episode recently and podcast and was talking about a number of different topics and got into a little bit about the Model X next. And that, of course, is this car that's supposed to be released by I guess it's the, what, 3
June.
months from now? 3 months, midpoint of 2025. And there's supposed to be two versions of the car, a hatchback and a sedan. They're supposed to closely run with the Model 3, the Model Y, but they're also at a reduced price point. So they're supposed to enable people at a lower income bracket to be able to afford the vehicles. And we've really been struggling with what are these two cars? What will they be? Because, of course, there's been no leaks to this point as to what the car is. Now, the article that we've quoted here, that's in the link below, there's some renders in that article, but they're just renders. There's somebody's interpretation of what they believe it might look like, or they're not the real thing. Nobody knows what the real thing is yet because no one has released any spy photos or information about what the shells of these cars are going to look like. Are they going to closely resemble the 3 and the Y? Are they going to be the same body, just with different parts on the inside? We really don't know. But Franz on Ride the Lightning, he did elaborate a little bit about the car or cars. Ryan from Ride the Lightning tried to get him to say something, but of course he can't. He can't really say anything that would, let the cat out of the bag because they've been so good with keeping a lid on this whole thing. But he did indicate to Ryan something that would not get him fired, he thought, was that he is indicating that these cars are not going to feel cheap, is how he put it. He indicates that they're going to put the regular quality into the car as they do with all their cars currently, so that the end consumer is not feeling that they've gotten a cheap knockoff of a Tesla vehicle. This is something that they're going to avoid with what they're putting into the car, probably because, of course, Tesla doesn't have to add a whole bunch of bells and whistles to the cabin itself. Buttons aren't required. All Teslas are just screen driven, basically, with just a few extra buttons on the side of the doors. But it looks like, of course, that gives the car a little bit of a minimalistic look on the inside, and also gives you a bit of a premium feel, many would say, as well, because it's simplicity, it's sleekness of design. And with this new car, I think that's what Franz was kind of aiming at. He was indicating that it's not going to feel cheap. The car is going to allow people to experience a level that they're not used to in this type of a dollar space. So this is, again, we're getting some information, but again, very little. as to what this vehicle is going to be like. And as Kacey and I were discussing last week, again, this is less than 3 months away before we're at the middle of the point of the year, which is when they said that this vehicle, and there's two of them. That's the other crazy thing. There's two of them, and we've seen nothing. There's been no spy photos. There's been nothing.
There was a Model 3 Highland spy shot after the Junipers spy shots and then unveilings. So that could be something, possibly, if the rumor about them sharing parts with 3 and Y is true. I don't know what all you can.
They've indicated that both these cars will be manufactured on the same lines as the 3 and the Y, right? Like they're going to use the same machinery that they're building the 3 and Y with to build these new versions of these two new cars, a hatchback and a sedan. But there's been really no indication of you can build two different body types on the same line. That's happened because we saw that with the S and the X.
Right.
But it's again, it makes it complex a little bit. Yeah. But again, we thought we'd see something, just something more concrete than what we've been seeing here.
Yeah, but you can have something the same size and roughly the same content as a 3 or Y, and be substantially cheaper, unless thing's only going to have 100-mile range, which is something
that would not be a good picture, would it?
Right. There's not much more you can take away. Everything's in the screen. They're not going to take away FSD and the like. This is just wild. If they do the unboxed, how much will the unboxed not get in the way of everything else?
Yeah. And Franz's quote from Ride the Lightning was, sometimes there's this idea that more affordable equals cheap, like cheap plastic, cheap whatever. That's never been our intention, he told Ryan on the show.
Right, and so that means it's not going to be the Mexican Model 3 because that one is a clear 3D contenting. You've got none of the vegan leather. It's all cloth, and then you've got I'm sure it's probably a premium cloth, but then you've got the less speakers, and like if you're used to regular Teslas, you'll know this one is not. I mean, it'll still be a Tesla, but you'll know it's not what they normally offer, and then they're already minimalist, so like this one's missing some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the CFO of Tesla had indicated back on January 29th of this year that, in quotes, we are still on track to launch a more affordable model in the first half of 2025.
And we're halfway through the first half.
Yeah, exactly. So there is not a lot of time left. There's been many speculations as to what it will contain, but again, these are just guesses. Would this have a slightly smaller battery, maybe a 53 kilowatt as opposed to the 75 typically?
Yeah, I'd expect like a 60-40. I don't see anything less than a 40 unless this thing is like super aerodynamic, like Naptera.
Yeah.
But
would they? I don't think they go with 100-mile range, as I think that would be ridiculous. But could they go under the 250 mark now that superchargers have rolled out even further? Could a 200-mile range or a 225-mile range suffice?
Yeah, so I was about to say they've done 206 and 208 from the factory several times. So what's a 200?
Yeah. And of course, having an LFP battery could keep those costs down as well. Strictly LFP, that's a no-brainer. They seem to have gone to the LFP when it comes to the low-end vehicles now. So they're all LFPs. So I would not be surprised if that would be what it is.
get some MCU1 screens, or it can still be an MCU Tesla, but they could have no screen.
Really? You think they could go with a no screen?
They could go with no screen. I don't know how they do speedometer. Maybe like a little desktop alarm clock, and then you put your phone on the dash.
Just a sticker, and then you could be always doing 55 and never stops.
The alarm clock, speedometer, just in case, and then you put your phone on the dash.
That's an idea. Yeah, hook it to your phone to give you some telematics through your phone through the Tesla app. That's an idea.
The
Yeah,
reverse CarPlay, like everybody else is controlling the screen with their phone. Your phone is the screen.
yeah, and that's not unheard of. We know that GM in some cases have gone to a situation where they're pulling from your phone to do the navigation. So they're saving some money because they're offloading the compute power to your phone to pull it from your data connection, and they don't
Yeah.
have to have one.
Yeah. So I can see that doing some work. I don't know about them doing the data connection because there's still a lot of people who have limited data. But I could literally see them dropping most of the compute and screen that go there, and then using the Tesla app, either in portrait or they still have the FSD computer, so that would be interesting.
Yeah, because they're going to need that compute power for FSD.
Yeah.
Do
But
you
they've got
think that they would ever put out a car at this point that did not have the ability to run FSD, or is that a non-starter in your mind?
yeah, but I don't think they can sell a car that doesn't do FSD. Even if FSD is not included, you got to rent it, or you got to pay extra for it. So it's a $8,000 car with an $8,000 FSD package. I could see them doing that.
Right.
A screen is what, $150 to $400 depending on what they want from their touchscreen. So that's a savings right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they could go with a slightly smaller screen that could save them a few
Rear
dollars.
screen from all the new Teslas, the 3 and the Y and the
Yeah.
Cybertruck, and the S and the X. Is that 3 different screens or 2 different screens they have? The Cybertruck is unique rear screen.
They would definitely, yeah, dropping that would make sense as well. Another thing
Well,
that
I wouldn't expect it to have a separate rear screen. I'm just saying, I wonder if they could use that rear screen as the main screen.
oh, the main, okay, I see what you're saying.
We've already
Use
got
that
them.
small screen as your main screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible as well. It again,
It could be
just
bigger than a lot of OEM's other screens.
true, true.
Screen.
Yeah, there's some that aren't that. It is again. I just find it so weird that no one has come up with any type of an internal photo or something.
Mhm.
Here's the render we're going to show
Yeah, let's do that.
that is appearing in the article, and kind of like what would you say this? Almost a Chevy Bolt kind of
Yeah,
look.
yeah, a little bit. Another thing I could think of is that there isn't actually a whole new model, and that this is the new 3 and Y, and they're working on not Osborne in themselves, and then it'll just start at a really low trim, and he'll work its way up to what we've got now.
And of course, we've heard the number being kicked around about the price starting at somewhere between $30,000 and $35,000 for this vehicle. So,
Yeah.
not too long ago, Model 3 was base at 35,000. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure where all the savings come. As again, we're speculating here. I do like Kacey's idea about possibly offloading into a cell phone in some cases, or using that smaller screen.
Yeah.
But does that get you,
Itself.
$7,000, $7,500
How
off
about
off the cost?
I don't see them going to steel skin because that's gonna be new to them, but well, not entirely new to them. Stainless steel is a skin that they've done before, but what if the Cybercab is Saturn style, where it's injected thermoplastic with the paint built in. What if they did that? Because I don't see them doing a steel skin. And if you save on an aluminum skin, maybe.
Yeah. Well, again, they said at the beginning of the year they're still on track for release before July of this year. So we haven't got long to wait. We're going to keep our eyes open and see if we get any type of leaks. But to this point, pretty ironclad, locked up. Not seeing much. But again, Franz on the podcast indicate that we're coming. It's coming, and it's not going to feel cheap. So that's a good thing. But we'll have to see what it actually entails. With that, Kacey, what do you got for shout outs for us?
Well, catch us on Sunday over at youtube.com/CaseyGreen or x.com/GCustom for the chat with Kacey and friends. And if you want to do a voice chat participation, we've got a X Spaces that's going to be running alongside that and piped in through my microphone. And then come back here on Monday for the Tesla Life Express Edition 2. And then back on Wednesday for the Tesla Life Live. I'll see you there.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we'll get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.